Hello, and welcome to Painting Happy Little Minis. Look at this.
We're here.
We're here, and we're smiling. And as you can see, I am now in front of the camera, so it takes me a hot second to get everything, which is why it wasn't working 100% in our intro. So, but look, I have the logo floating in front of us. And look, I have our little names. Very
You need to move your the water cup in front of you, so when your name comes up, it's not hidden.
Also sponsored by Dixie. So hello and welcome everybody to Painting Happy Little Minis. My name is Leona.
I'm Dave.
And today we are going to be painting up some frameworks by Wizkids. So Dave, you've painted a couple of those miniatures.
I have. I painted the Orc Barbarian.
Okay, awesome.
I painted the Elf Ranger, the Dwarf Cleric, and now I'm painting the Human Druid.
Nice.
So, and based on the conversation last week with Gretchen having done her pseudo-falconry course with the enormous owl, so I'll be basically, so based on some of those photos, some of the colors that Gretchen was wearing in those photos, I'll try and put onto the miniature.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that.
Nice little fun.
Did you want to put some of them on the spinner?
Oh, sure, yeah, let's do that.
Or, yeah, you can just...
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
There's going to give me another scraping sound.
It's all good. Let me say hi to people who are in chat. Hello to Josh. Thanks for joining. Close this. Hello to Dave Hummel. Betsy, hello from the Bowers dinner table. I feel so lucky. What are you guys eating? Was it good?
Don't talk about food. I'm hungry.
Oh, okay. Don't tell us what you're eating. Never mind.
You can
Hello,
if you want.
Jason,
it's okay.
and hello, James. Thanks
Excellent.
for... Yes, Gretchen has been overcome by the awesomeness of the new Jurassic Park trailer, or World trailer, so she just can't be here tonight.
I specifically watched it today.
Oh!
So that we could have the conversation.
So we
if
could
necessary.
talk about it.
Next week. There's plenty of time.
Dang.
We've got ages.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
Sorry. I'm glad that you laughed at that for like half a second.
Ha. Ha.
Fantastic.
Let me, I need to move this on our little screen because it's quite tiny right now.
Okay.
At least for me.
Yep.
On the screen, so I'm gonna bump this up.
Scale it up.
Yeah. Hopefully that's better.
There we go.
You can actually see it. Cool.
Yes.
Hello, JT. Thanks for joining. So as I said, we are all painting up some frameworks. I'm going to be working on the Orc Barbarian.
Yep.
Mr. Orc Barbarian. I might actually bring out my phone to look up some reference, like color for skin.
Cool. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe gray instead of brown.
Okay. Yeah.
Since he's an orc.
Sure.
Well, instead of green.
I think you got a variety of colors you can choose from. You could even go with like a red or a orange and that kind of thing.
Maybe even pink.
Sure.
Make him a human colored skin.
Yeah. You could go that way.
Nasty.
I think this guy, with the way that his jaw is set, if you went with the red, you'd look a little bit Hellboy.
Oh, true.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah.
You would look a Hellboy. So, let me get we have some of Dave's previously painted minis on the spinner, so let me just get those up real quick for us so we can just give them a look-see.
And just quickly, lasagna is what's being had at the Bowers household tonight. Sounds good. Sounds
I did
filling.
have pasta tonight, but not lasagna, so I'm sad.
Jason asks, so after doing a few of the new Wizkids minis, which ones do you prefer, the old pre-primed or the new sprue ones? I'm going to say I prefer the frameworks, to be honest. Because of the way that because you assemble them, compared to a single piece model. Single piece model, you have two halves of the mold, that come apart and do that. So there's no
always lines.
Yeah, there's you're going to have mold lines. I mean, you have mold lines on these as well. Not as many at the moment.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually,
new sprues. But this approach, assembling a model from a kit, gives you a lot more depth. So you've got things that are going on all around the model rather than just in one plane.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, I think these minis are much more dynamic in their poses and 360 interest. I mean, you can even see on the spinner, like, they make for great mini, like, they have a great presence as minis. And not that the pre-primed ones were terrible, but there was definitely, they were limited, as you said, in the two.
It's purely a technology thing.
Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two plane, like one, they could kind of deal with like two planes, but then these are multiple. There's like sometimes four.
So yeah, I think as I said, the other ones are still absolutely cool.
And the other ones, it's fun.
Just pip them.
It's fun with these ones, and I think we might have even talked off air about this.
Probably.
Like the frameworks are fun for people who they're great entry level, but they're also really fun for people who are more into putting together their own miniatures from this sprue, excuse me. As opposed to some of the primed ones, they're like this is kind of like, are you ready for the next level of your painting game? Definitely try out frameworks because they're not, weird minis where you're kind of like, where does this piece go? But it's a little more self-explanatory than that. But they're not just like, oh, it's already been primed for you. Like if you want to get more, I think, into the actual like miniatures hobby, not just
explore more avenues of it.
Yeah, it's not just creating like set pieces for your
through gaming.
Your gaming, so yeah.
But no, I do like these a lot. I'm looking forward to
great.
painting up some more of them. But definitely super cool.
James says, I tried to get some pictures of the ship I am working on, but the pictures didn't turn out. Oh. That's okay. We can imagine.
We can try again next week.
I mean, it's only been 6 million years. I guess we can wait 1 week. Yes.
I don't know, Josh. Today's pace is a little speedier.
We're all about the social media, not the dinosaurs, Hey, things happen fast there. Asteroids.
Yeah. This is true.
Meteorites. Dave Humble says, the book. Do you want to chat about that a little bit, or do you want to get stuck in?
We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Okay. Cool.
Let's go on.
Dave has a book that's out.
Just on Kickstarter. Book on Kickstarter. It's going well. JT says, mold lines and assembly gaps, the bane of all mini painters. Indeed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're always going to find them somewhere. But he says, dude, that book is epic. Thank you.
We're very excited.
Do the frameworks only have the 1-inch base size, or they also made larger creatures? I think so. The ones that we've seen, the ones that I've played around with, are the with preview ones.
Yes.
So
I think that they are going to have monsters. Like I'm pretty sure might even be a beholder in the line, but the ones that are coming out in the spring or soon, very soon, are just the adventurers.
Adventurers, right?
So they just have the 1-inch.
1-inch base. But they will have others in the line.
But yeah, I believe the line is to expand it to more.
I think I know that I've seen skeletons.
Gotcha.
Plastic skeletons as well.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing they would be 1-inch base.
Yeah.
Because they're all humanoid skeletons. But yeah. I
Dave Humble says he was talking about the model because of the book. Your model has a book. Remember,
okay.
Your Dwarven model is holding a book. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, it was a great tie-in. Thanks, Dave Humble.
Any opportunity, really.
I'll always.
Any opportunity.
I'll always make a cut in.
Cool.
All right, let's.
And Ragamuffin says, almost missed the show. Facebook didn't update with links.
Yes.
Sorry.
So apologies, Ragamuffin. Dave can attest. Right before the show started, I was like, "Oh, it didn't go where it was supposed to." Not exactly sure why. So yeah, I'm going to forward the links now as we get started.
So, yeah, Leona's running it all from the laptop.
Yeah, so I'm
which is
running
right,
it like
right
all
there.
from here. And
You get the
so
keyboard, you got the mouse.
I
you got it all
tried to
going
prep
on.
as much as possible, but this is the first time I've done this in probably 3 months, I think. So
At
there
least,
were a couple of
yeah.
things that I missed. And for some
fine.
reason, Restream, just like last week when we couldn't get the chat working, Restream is just not being my friend right this time,
Because you
which
Restream.
is fine. So,
Oh, and I also noticed.
what?
That's weird. The text mention down the bottom in the little bit, the box there, it says frameworks, but on the top it says Framworks.
Framworks. Does it really?
Yep. Frameworks sounds like something from Futurama,
Futurama.
which is coming back.
What? Why is this happening to me? All right, let's retry.
I'm not sure, but it's certainly not fair.
It is not
It's
fair.
not fair at all. Oh. I gotta get
Oh,
some-
you know why? It's because I actually did just spell it incorrectly.
Okay. Radio. Yeah,
Ta-da!
Cool.
Ashlynn, by the way, thanks for joining, Ashlynn. Yes, I do remember
Ooh. Sorry. Yep.
your YouTube username, so thank you.
I did not. I'd forgotten. Sorry, Ashley. Oh,
I'm just going to
excellent.
do that. I'm going to go and share it in the Facebook group. So
okay.
everyone, let's
Sounds
look
good.
at Dave's palette
look away.
for a minute. For a
away.
minute.
Okay, so I was doing some painting earlier today.
You're trying to be Jackson Pollock.
Well, sometimes when if I have a little bit, I know Jason, we were talking about how what should the palette be and the paper be.
Right.
So when you leave it there, it's all well and good. But if you then go and twist it and move it around when you're carrying it, like from home to the studio, you can get this sort of effect going on.
Little marbled.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty nifty. And you can see over here where a paint pot would have been sitting, and when it's sitting there, when it's the area where it's in contact with the paper,
Right.
is where water will come up from the sort of underneath. So that's why you've got that little ring there. So you can also get a lesson in fluid dynamics. If you're into that sort of thing. So.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I love physics, so
Yeah.
it's fine. I grew up my father was a physics teacher, so
Oh, cool.
making it happen
Nice.
with physics. All right, so you are going to be finishing off your Druid lady.
Yeah. I'm going to pop her in a holder. Yeah. I think originally I was going to get some greens and get stuck into that, but then I remembered last week that we talked about doing like autumnal colors. So
Oh yeah, we
I
did.
will work on that for her. So make a couple of changes, which will be nice. And we'll get.
Hello, Sean Gleason.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Oh, hey, Sean. Yes. Jackson Pollock would be interesting to see miniatures painted by Jackson Pollock.
Can't they do the dip painting? I think that's what he would do.
Oh, then he would make paintings by flicking the
Minis.
dip
Sorry,
everywhere.
yeah, that's what I meant. The dipped minis. I said dip painting, but I meant dip.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Minis.
You dip them, paint the minis, dip them, and then flick the
Yeah.
all over the place. That'll be fine. It'll look good.
Oh yeah,
So-
it really didn't. Share it.
Hmm?
I'm just wondering why.
Why?
I'm wondering why, everyone.
Just why? So
You
if
can
anybody has,
answer that
if anybody has the
question.
answer,
That would be great.
the answer isn't 42.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Just
talking
fine.
to someone the other day, and they had never read or seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was very unfortunate because I made a 42 answer joke, and I was like, well, you should
And they didn't get it?
Yeah, you should watch it. It's such a great... I read all 3 books over the course of the pandemic.
Okay.
And it was a great read.
When you say 3 books, you mean 4 books, of course.
4, yeah.
The 4 books in the trilogy.
Oh, there are? I read all of... Yeah, I read all of the
Douglas
books.
Adams, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because then... Yeah, so I read all the books. They were great.
Yeah, they are good. Big fan. I'm pretty sure that... Actually, when I was in Australia, I found my old copies of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
Yeah.
So I brought those back for my daughter.
Yeah.
Hope that she enjoys them.
Okay, well, I'm having trouble sharing this, so... if someone who's watching on Facebook would mind sharing it into the Painting Happy Little Minis group, that would be super helpful. So that would help your friend out.
Help out Leona. Do the tech thing. Oh, good. So, yes. So I'm going for an autumnal theme. You're going for a grey skin, you thinking? Or are you going to go...
I should think about the theme more.
Yeah.
He has antlers for his on his head.
On his helmet?
On his helmet. There's like this plated armor skirt with fur underneath of it.
Okay.
And then he has potentially leather boots and a fur. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, if that's too muted, I would do like black boots, brown, gray, and then gray for the skin might be too
Yeah, it sounds too muted.
So then maybe green.
I think you need to go with something fairly vibrant. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even orange would
Blue?
still blue.
Maybe you can go with blue.
Blue, okay.
Just something different, but because the other colors, the brown, like browns and
Yeah.
that sort of thing, are going to be quite warm.
Yeah.
Blue. So if you throw a little bit of like orange, an orangey brown in there, and then you can have a saturated blue.
Gotcha. You mean like orangey brown on one of the browns?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which one. Could be the pants. Could be the something else.
So normally when I paint at my house, I don't have all these awesome colors. So I'm going to rummage for a little bit.
You're going to be excited about using them all. That's cool. Nancy says, heresy. Everyone should know 42.
I know, right?
This is true.
I was surprised, I'm not going to lie, especially since most of my friends are nerds. But it's fine. Sometimes it just slips through the gaps. And it's also hard for me, I think, to recommend that book or series because it's super out there. And I'm like, would this person enjoy it? Because I loved it.
Right. Yeah. You should always recommend it.
That's true.
And then
Maybe
if they-
with a...
Yeah. Don't decide for them.
That's fair.
Yep. John says people did that with Tomb Kings back in the day with brown minwax. Yep. Actually, there's a lot of people still doing that with all sorts of armies. Death Guard is a very popular one. So because they're very grimy and dirty, I think it's a great result. Josh says, would Dave's palette paper make good art to auction off for charity? I don't know. Actually, coming up for charity this year for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, I've decided I'm going to paint up a Dungeon Bowl set. So Games Workshop has a kind of like a variation on Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that's
called Dungeon Bowl.
That's so fun.
Because I've been thinking a lot about dungeons lately.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. The game itself is played on sort of flat, usually played on flat cardboard dungeon tiles, like dungeon rooms and that sort of thing. So I'm going to take the minis, paint them all up, and then hopefully use, I think, maybe the Wizkids Warlock tiles to create some rooms for the game. So that should be fun. But when,
For them to play on?
So yeah, then you get the they play down in a dungeon rather than playing up on a pitch.
Oh, okay.
They play in a dungeon, so it's a very different style of game.
Gotcha.
And in the background, the teams are sponsored by the 8 different colleges of magic, and so there's a very magical sort of thing going on there. There's a lot of like teleportation squares.
Oh.
So if you run onto one, you'll disappear from that square and you'll reappear somewhere else, which might be quite random. You might land in a spot where you're like next to the end zone. You might land in a spot next to a trap.
It's a trap.
You might end up in fire, like landing in fire. You might end up in the middle of like 5 of your opponents. But these are the fun risks you take.
It's fine.
Yeah. So it's definitely a cool variant of the Blood Bowl game.
I'm having trouble finding brown.
Oh, which ones do you need? Do you need a dark brown, a light brown, an orange brown?
An orange brown? Oh, I literally just found it.
What'd you find? Is
Orange brown.
Orange brown. It says orange brown.
It says orange brown on it.
That's crazy. I was going to recommend red leather, but
Okay.
sure, orange brown, go for it.
This orange brown is the answer to my problems.
Nice.
I'm going so slow because I'm nervous having the Zoom cam on me.
That's okay. But yeah, Josh, I think what I might do is save some of my palette papers from that project and include those in the charity auction.
That would be fun.
Just a goofy thing. But Dave almost says if we took them all over the course of the year, it might. That'd be fun as well. Probably go through like 3 a week. So if you've got 150 of them and then lay them all out.
You could do like you know how people fill out a sketchbook,
right,
for a year or something, or you know they do like Inktober. You could do that with your palette paper,
right.
like good. Collect all of them. Just save them and then be like, oh, look, I've painted this much.
That could be
But
good.
honestly, like your minis are also a way for you to
see how much you painted.
how much you painted. So,
well, it would be a way to see how much paint didn't go on the minis.
there you go.
That came out of the bottle and didn't go onto the minis.
Like, I thought I was better than this.
I know it's a lot, but that's fine.
Extreme close-up, yes.
Yep. That's what Josh was thinking. Oh, Sean says, "Oh, cool! I haven't played it yet." We're talking about Dungeon Bowl there. And it says, "Yes. Do you need any charred brown? I have some charred brown, right here, Betsy. Take that. There it is." So
I don't want the charred brown.
why not?
Because it's charred.
It's good for you. I saw the that was wonderful
Carcinogens are not good for you.
meme going around, which is quite uninspired. I don't think somebody posted in this group, but I don't know if you've seen it. Somebody's looking at a picture and it has a tube of raw umber and a tube of burnt umber, and the text is, "Why can nobody cook umber?"
I saw that. Yeah.
I want to get some medium rare umber. That would be good. Extreme close up. Oh, Josh is currently using oak brown.
Oh, nice.
Oak brown
Yeah, for those
from-
of you who are joining and watching, let us know what you guys are painting.
Indeed.
If anything at all. Or if you're eating dinner, let us know.
Sure. Just teases with food. But yeah, oak brown is from the Army Painter range, I think. Pretty sure. So, what I do at the moment is just it started with the it started with the miniature overall. Was I primed it? There we go. Originally primed it black, then did it like a zenithal prime with white. Then I've hit it with a wash of Seraphim Sepia from GW. And now I'm going through... I painted
so
the...
So that then the sepia goes in the cracks?
Yeah, it goes in the shadows.
Shadows, excuse me.
So it gives me a little bit more sort of clarity on the areas.
Okay.
And if I wanted to have any parts of it that were a bone sort of color, that's a great starting point.
Oh, okay.
Because I think in those photos, like Christian's wearing like a bone-colored sweater.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll get that sort of down there and started. But now, after the skin, I think I worked on the skin towards the end of last week, and now I'm done. I painted the coat in charred brown. There's a great base coat there.
Oh,
and
yeah, that looks awesome.
Starting on the highlighting. Now, at the back, I think you mentioned it last week, there's a like a thorn pattern that weaves its way across the back.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it looks a little bit rough because you can't see the pattern too clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully by the end of the show, we'll have that.
Are you going to
sorted out.
overlay that with like a green or?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll go with yet.
Is that actually on the sculpt?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. It's on the sculpt there.
Does it look almost like it's supposed to be embroidery?
Yeah, I think that's essentially what it is. Yeah, just a raised pattern. And depending on what you do with the texture for what material you choose for the cloak or the coat.
Gotcha.
And you might want to
change.
do it like leather, so you could do it like an embossed leather kind of look, where you just highlight it and then push a lot of shading in around it. Or you could do a dyed leather look around it. So somebody's come along with, so you paint it all as you would leather if it was all the same color.
Right.
Then come along and do like a wash of a green over the top.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about how it... Because I guess she wouldn't... She could have like a wool cloak, but you're doing leather cloak.
I haven't really decided, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what sort of texture I'll try and put on it, but a leather coat is very, very role play.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that fits the theme.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if it gets cold? You need this wool cloak.
Sure. That's actually a pretty good point. So maybe it will be a
No,
wool
it's
coat.
okay. You can do whatever cloak you want.
Well, if it's autumnal, it means it's getting cold. So
Yeah.
I think they'll have to go that path. And that'll just mean rather than what I would do if I was doing leather, I'd mix in some of the like some elf flesh or dwarf flesh paint. So kind of a orangey Caucasian kind of skin.
Right. Okay.
And I'd kind of stipple out along the edges to show a kind of cracked and worn kind of look. But for a wool coat, I probably will mix in a little bit of like an ivory sort of color or an off-white, something like that.
Okay.
And just do sort of little cross hatches along the highlights to get that sort of feel going. And I fear I have left my brush with the lovely fine point at home.
Oh no.
I know. Oh well. These things happen.
JT says, I'm continuing on those Armiger
Amiga.
Knights. Ashlynn's working on another Templar. Betsy is using a 50 mix of red leather and black on my current project.
Oh, cool.
No green. Yeah,
Nice.
The last few have been very green heavy.
Yep.
And Jason is currently staring at the wings of my clockwork dragon, hoping for advice later tonight.
Sure thing. I do have a couple of thoughts, so that's good. So if we, is this clockwork dragon in the
Yeah, did
in
you
the minis?
you yeah, it is.
Okay, cool.
Because he
Submitted that.
you submitted it, right? Because if you did, then I got it.
I like how your voice went up as if you're calling out, just waiting to hear Jason's response. Just shout it out, Jason. Just shout it out.
Give it a shout. I did raise it almost as if you could hear me more.
Can you hear me at the back of the room?
For all of those of you in the back of the room, raise your hands.
Awesome stuff.
Sean Gleason is painting old metal white lion high elves
Oh, cool.
and the other 2 wild riders.
Excellent. Are you going to be including those in your Lumineth Realm Lords army? Pardon me, Sean?
I feel like.
Or doing something else with them? I haven't had a look at the army book yet, so I don't know if they're in there as a unit or if you could sort of substitute them in.
Living city, he says.
Oh, okay. Radio. So yeah, the Cities of Sigmar lists, which bring together all of the old world armies, so Empire and Dwarves and Elves that haven't turned into the new Elves from Age of Sigmar. So there we go.
We built this city.
There we go. It's coming along. I think I will just go a little bit further on some of them with the red leather there.
Okay.
I'm just going to move that this way. There we go. So you can see the mix that I've been working with there. And just so that it's got a little bit more of that.
Sorry,
Almost.
I was trying to get your.
Yeah, to not have it sitting behind my picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, so to have a little bit more of that orange sort of autumnal feel down towards the end of the coat. As if there's a very subtle ombre
Oh, I like that.
going on. We'll see if it works.
With the different layers. I'm very concentrated in painting, so I apologize. I should just really ease up and relax.
Well, you've got a whole, well, I don't know how long it's going to be. It might be half an hour, it might be 45 minutes when we get to talking about everybody's minis. So, all good.
It's true.
And yes.
It's true.
Sean said, I had a Wood Elf army back in 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy. Wasn't that long ago, Sean. Wasn't that long ago. When you say it back in, it makes me worry. Makes me worry about the Dwarf army that I had back in 3rd edition. Makes me feel old.
Are you worried about them?
Worried about feeling old?
Yeah.
Nah, that happens, right?
It happens. It's happening.
It's a good thing.
It's a good... yeah.
Getting old is a good thing.
It's
Part of the
lovely.
natural progression. But, so, there we go. I think that's showing up a little bit more there. And I might throw in a little bit of orange just to really push that. So mix in some orange fire.
Orange fire. Fire away. I missed... Someone told us what we were doing. I think it was JT, and I missed JT's comment. So
Okay.
let's see
Let me get... There we go.
Actually, it was Josh's comment. I'm painting Reaper's Bathleon and working on the base because I didn't work on it earlier this week.
All right.
Dave Hummel has been sick all week.
Oh, boo.
Done.
So herring at those centurions.
Yep.
Timothy Bowser's on his own device now. Yeah. Nice. Jason did submit it. Let me see. Sigma. Long time ago, in the time before the before time. Exactly. So, I'm trying to remember. I think. No, I've never. I don't think I've ever actually owned a Wood Elf army. I have painted one. It was back in the day when I was working for Games Workshop. I painted one for
the store?
For the store. When I was working in retail. That's one thing when you work in retail for Games Workshop, you get to paint. Well, I'm not sure what it's like now, but certainly back in the day, you got to paint a lot of models. So there was a lot of display cabinet space that needed to be filled.
Did you know? I'm not sure you know this. Well, actually, you never lived near me. So anyway,
Right.
There used to be a Games Workshop like 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
Growing up, and yeah, it was wild. Just like thinking about that the other day. That
Yep. Was that
it's not there anymore.
Yorkridge?
Actually, because I lived over by White Marsh,
Oh, okay.
so it was
Yep.
over right by the avenue.
On the avenue, yeah.
Yeah, there used to be one there, and we would walk in and just like look at the. So when it was
Yep.
when you were talking about the display cabinets, like we would just go and look, my brother and I,
Yep.
at the display cabinets and be like, oh my gosh, and I'm sure those models, and like of course as a kid you're like, oh, I want those. Those look cool. And then your mom's like, sure, how much are they?
And they tell her, and she goes, I don't think so.
She's like, let's go to Target and find some models that we can paint ourselves.
So there we go. That orange has really helped pop that
Oh, yeah.
out a lot there.
Yeah. That does work a bit better.
So, yep, very cool there. Okay, so she has 3 different locations. So on this side of her here, I don't know if you can the camera just under her arm there's a pocket like stitched onto the coat.
Okay.
And I think that the it looks like she's got herbs coming out the top of the pocket.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to paint those green. She has this sort of, I guess, case of some sort of over her shoulder.
Yes, it's like a bag, right?
Yeah, like a medicine bag or something like that.
Yeah, it actually does kind of look like a medicine bag.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that in a green leather.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do those 2 first because I know that I want to do those in green, and then that'll give me a sense as to whether I should do the pattern in green.
Gotcha.
Because if I do one of those first, it'd be like, that's too much green.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be that there's just enough green, not too much at all. So, yep.
I'm just trying to paint all the fur on this guy.
Yeah. There's a lot of fur.
Before I move on, try and do the paint by number and like actually just paint each thing.
Okay.
I'm going like kind of do one color first.
Oh, and then do all the highlighting and shading on
Yeah.
it, and then move on to the next color?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Well, maybe not.
That's usually how I go about it.
Yes, actually, yeah. Do the highlight because that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna add this smoky ink. Maybe that's too dark. It's right here actually on my palette.
Right.
That might be too dark, but I was thinking of adding the smoky ink to the orange.
Okay.
Actually, I think I can just get a brown wash because ink is thicker
Yeah.
than I think I want.
You could thin it down.
Yeah,
With,
you're right. I don't
with some
actually
water?
have to get the wash.
But yeah.
But that's what I was thinking for the to add. And then with the highlight of the fur, is that just like almost like dry brushing, but not because it's so small?
It is so small. You just got to do a very light sort of overbrush.
Okay.
And yeah, do a light overbrush with your base color, and then mix in a little bit of like a white or a bone into it.
Okay.
For another sort of light brush.
After I've done the wash.
Yeah.
Wash.
Yeah. After the wash is dried. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna add a little bit of dark Prussian blue because I don't have any of my sort of dark greens with me, but I thought I'd mix that into the Castellan green here, which I think will give me a nice sort of desaturated blue-green color, which will work well for this case, the leather case. So I'll start to sort of throw that down, get a sense of what that's like. I might need like a black wash or something like that. But yeah, it is sort of interesting to think about your process for going through and painting models.
Yes.
Do you just go through, do you usually go through and paint all the base coats?
That's what I've done in the past.
Yep.
I find that that's what I was doing with all the minis that I've painted on the show.
Okay.
I find that I can easily get distracted.
Right.
And like lose sight of what I need to do next.
Okay.
So I was thinking like maybe if I just do it by color,
right,
that would help me. Like granted, you might have not started with like maybe I shouldn't have started with the fur first,
right.
But at least then
you picked a starting point.
I picked a starting point. Because what ends up happening when I do all the base coats, or this is what I found for the couple minis I've painted, is it's very easy for me to overwork the paint.
Okay.
And be like, okay, I added a wash.
Yep.
And like, now I'm going to add, now I'm going to do some highlighting. Now I'm going to go back and add another wash.
Right.
And then it becomes very muddied.
Okay.
Because it starts to lose any of the distinction.
No,
and
definition,
and because I'm not skilled
right.
in actually doing like paint, like the wet painting that they talk about, like the blending,
wet blending,
the blending. Yep. It doesn't look like that, it just looks like one color.
Right. Okay.
It starts to becoming like less like, oh, this is how the highlight can help your eye see distinction, and it becomes more like, this is like just one bad color.
Love the brown.
Yeah.
It's not brown, Dave. It's grey.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it? Is it though? Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I was trying to do a different technique or approach for this mini to see, did it work better?
Okay.
What worked? What didn't? Do I like the results better?
Right. Yeah, it can be can definitely be a tough one. Learning sort of when to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would usually advise like go around, do all the base coats first, and then just stop and step back, and pick out a couple of areas to work up.
Okay.
You don't have to do the whole thing. You just step back, pick out a couple of areas. Usually around the face, around the head, and anything that's going to sort of frame the face. The areas to do a bit more work on.
Okay.
And other areas you can let those slide a little bit. The number of times I've painted boots black, and I just left them.
That's what I was realizing. This guy's boots are black, and I'm like, maybe I don't really have to paint them at all.
No, you can just leave them.
Because at first I was like, well, I guess the first thing I'll paint is the darkest color, which was black. And then I'm like, the mini was primed black. I don't know if I really need to paint much.
Maybe not. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, Betsy says I had to get a base coat on everything so I can see how I like the colours together. Yep, that's good. Good approach. Mike Becker is here. Hi, Mike. Good to see you.
Hello.
Glad you're in the chat. And James says I do a lot of wet blending. So
Nice.
he's working on his boats. So
Always paint over the primer. Okay, I will.
There are quite a few times I do not paint over the primer, particularly if we're talking black boots and black primer.
Yeah.
But one of the things that to that point that Mike makes there is that very rarely do spray primers and paints of the same color have the same finish.
Right. That's
So,
the difference.
yeah.
Is like I can even see like it would behoove me to paint black on him
Yeah.
to cover it better, so that it's not that matte look.
Yeah.
Instead, it has the shine.
Yeah. So yeah, just if you know that the finish is going to be different for both of them, then always paint over it. One other thing though is if you know that you do have the same color, and you're going to be hitting them with a varnish, maybe you don't need to. If you're painting a lot of models, then you can save yourself some time. A lot of it comes down to what your sort of expectations are and what your requirements are. If you've got the time to do it, definitely do it. If you've got to get 200 models painted in the next 2 weeks, maybe not.
When would you need 200 models in the next 2 weeks?
Well, need is a very strong word, right? It's quite often you would want 200 models in the next 2 weeks. But there was a time, I think I might have mentioned on the show before, but it's probably been a while. In 2000, jumping in the Wayback Machine, going all the way back to the turn of the century.
The good days.
Yep.
When we were like, oh no, the internet's gonna die.
Yep. When I didn't have an internet connection.
I don't know if you remember that, but they were like, because it was 2012 that the Mayan calendar flipped back, but then like 2000 was with the computers and stuff.
Y2K.
And they were like, oh, they're gonna die, and it was like, no, it's all
gonna collapse.
Imagine time keeps going, and the computers figured it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying 2000.
2000,
in the
yes.
back machine. I'm there with you.
Machine. So, no, I was painting up a display table for Games Day.
Okay.
A big display game. It was like 18 feet. The table was like 18 feet wide by
goodness.
4 feet deep. Trench table. So,
Wow.
really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I painted up all models for both sides, and so the bad guys that I painted up for the for one side had 300 models to paint.
Whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
And so I batch painted them.
Right.
But I had to batch paint them in batches of 30.
Okay.
Because I just wouldn't. I wanted to see some progress along the way. So it's still like 10 batches of 30 models, right?
10 batches.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't. I'm not going to say it was one of my best ideas, but what it helped me do was to really be able to focus on brushstrokes and economy of brushstrokes,
Right.
and know where paint needed to go
To make the model look how you wanted.
Yeah, to make the model look all right. So the first batch that I painted, probably spent about 45 minutes on each model.
Right.
So what would that be? 30. I'm trying to do math. It's like 22 hours,
Yeah.
23 hours, something like that, worth of painting. By the time I got to the end of the job, so the final 30 miniatures, I painted in 2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So it was like 5 minutes a model.
Oh my goodness.
And you couldn't tell the difference between those guys and
And
the
the
ones that I
guys,
painted
yeah.
right at the start.
Yeah.
Because over that time, you just build up
Wow.
your efficiencies. So, yes, not many people in the world ever are going to need like 200 models in the next 2 weeks. But when you do,
You have to figure out
you got to figure out your efficiencies.
so that you're speeding up while you're
Yeah.
doing it.
And before anybody asks, I do still have those models. So I'm not going to get rid of them.
I was going to say,
Yep.
that feels like when you keep, even
Yep.
if,
Definitely.
that's like there's this
art project I did in high school, which, you know, it is just a high school art project, but it was like this paper mache figure that's based off of these, it's a people group down in Mexico. They do this like really detailed, like fine line painting on these animals that are really, really brightly colored. I don't know, you might have seen it.
Right now.
You probably, if I showed you pictures, I forget what they're called, but I spent many hours painting all these like little details and stuff, and yeah, so I still have that project.
Yeah.
Because it's like partly because of all the hours I put into
There's
it.
a large chunk of my life in this. Yeah.
It's like I don't even really think that's my best project, but I do like the project because I spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah. I hear you. I feel you. I understand entirely. So I don't think I've seen that particular stuff, except maybe, so in Coco. I don't know if you've seen Coco.
yes, I have seen Gorka,
the,
yes.
kind of the animal spirits animals?
Exactly like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Exactly like that.
I get it. Okay. So what I'm doing now, I painted the base coats for the green. There we go. Put it on the screen, Dave. Painted the base coats for the green. Now I'm doing the things that are going to be the kind of bone sort of colors. So I'm choosing to do the braces on her forearms, the shirt there, and the sort of fur trim on the shoulders and the hood. So I've got we're going to do a base coat of bone white, or if they're in considerable shadow, there's a little bit of beige brown under there first. So
Yes, Josh Potter says, avoid hobby burnout, work consistently, don't leave big projects until the last minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, very definitely. There's so many people that I've seen when they say, oh, I've got like 30 models to paint and I've got a month to do it. So I'll just paint one model a day. 28 days later, they've painted 14 models. And they're like, oh my God, what do I do?
I like this.
Literally,
imaginary.
that's exactly how they sound.
Yes.
Oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah, we've all been there and we know that's the sound that we make. It's actually quite accurate.
So my suggestion is always half the amount of time you think you have, or cut it by a third, depending on how active the rest of your life is.
Ooh, Timothy Bowers has Bard Song en route. And I agree. That
Oh, Bard Song.
is a game that has a lot of minis.
Is that? Who did that one? Is that
Steamforged.
Steamforged, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It should be coming out in March.
Oh, cool.
Or April. March, April. But I believe Kickstarters are coming sooner than that.
Okay. Yeah.
Let us know how it is. I'm excited.
I'm gonna see if we can get Bardsong to paint on the show,
Okay. Cool.
but it would be more like in the spring, just because of shipping and things.
Sure.
So
Yeah. In that case, Tim, when it arrives, when the Kickstarter arrives, post photos so that we can check it out.
It is almost 8 o'clock.
Oh my goodness! Not yet.
Would you like to look at some miniatures, or did you want to talk about your Kickstarter?
Sure. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to paint these herbs a base color of Castellan green.
Okay.
if anybody's wondering, I used, where did the color go? Did I use steel gray?
Did you use steel gray?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I used steel gray, which in my eyes looked blue.
Okay. Yeah.
For the model.
Oh, for the skin? That's looking cool.
Because I thought that it contrasted the orange very nicely. Like it's kind of in the, like the film. Like blue and orange is a very popular film technique.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially in the 2010 movies.
Yeah.
So this is like the exact colors that you would pull from like a movie
Right.
shot. So that's why I thought they would look good in contrast to each other. And then since it's a lighter color, even if I add the wash, it won't dull it too much. Because
Right.
that's another problem I have. I'll pick a dark color and then I'll put a wash on top of
Like
it.
a dark wash over it? Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, again, and then that adds to the muddied look that I'm talking about.
Sure.
Where then I'm like, well, now I have to go back in and paint the original color. Why did I put a wash? But it's more just the experience of knowing, like, I don't necessarily need it to put a wash on for the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just putting it on the...
Like, I could have just put it in the corners or crevices, excuse me.
Yeah. Or just in the... if you think of something as well as... like talking about volumes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that sort of... The concept of volumes that where... so, for example, I'm going to pull this guy in for a second.
Oh, yeah. Here,
So
let
this is
me...
the more crusher I've been working on.
If you want, I can zoom
out
out for a little bit. And if you want to just pull them.
Okay. So he has like lighter colors up top here with the wing membranes, and then as it comes down onto the his hands, his arms, like the forearms there, they're still fairly light, but they get darker and darker down to his fists, which are almost black.
Yeah.
So that's still purple there, but it's a range of kind of purple. So, yeah, when you talk about putting in a base color and then putting a wash on it, if you're just slipping it in the lowest areas, give that
The
kind of
bottom.
volume. We'll come back to this guy a little bit later.
Cool.
I'll show you some mushrooms. Fun mushrooms. But yeah, let's totally have a look at other people's minis.
Okie dokie.
Stop looking at ours. We've seen those before.
And I have, don't worry, Dave, I have the actual minis
Oh, down below.
down
Check it
below
out.
so we can read the things as well.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, hopefully you can read it all.
Andrew has been printing and painting a piece of terrain suitable for my halflings or for burrows and badgers and the like. Yep. That would be a fantastic burrows and badgers little piece. And check it out. On the it looks like on the side there, it has those kind of plate fungus kind of things. It might be steps up to the
Yeah.
on that tree. But yeah, it looks really cool, Andrew. That's coming along nicely. I like that that inside you've got that sort of fresh hewn wood kind of look.
Oh, yeah,
Fresh
the
cut wood.
lighter. The lighter.
Yeah, and where they've got the darker brown, almost grey kind of look at the bark on the outside. Yeah, looking very cool.
That is cool. I do like that.
Like this is like a little balcony.
I know.
The front.
That's so fun.
Excited to see this finished. Looks like there's a lot of printing.
Yeah.
A lot of work involved in that one. But yeah, so we won't rush you. Excellent.
All right, next we have Ashlynn.
Cool. So it's Ashlynn's
Templar
Templar
Knight.
Knight. This is a standard bearer. Also there, holding that relic. So that skeleton there is going to be some great hero of the chapter, the Space Marine chapter.
Gotcha.
But yeah, looking very cool. Ashlynn was working on this and posted a pic in the group of the little tilting shield.
Yes,
on the side there.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and asking for some thoughts and suggestions. My suggestion was cut it in half because Ashlynn was wondering what like iconography or what she was kind of stuck as to what to put on there.
Right.
I said if you cut it in half, you've got two different sections to work with. So you have twice as many things to think of. Mm-hmm. But because the smaller sections, it can be easier to sort of achieve them.
Gotcha.
Either using what do you call it? Decals or just little quick brush strokes. So Ashlynn chose to quarter it.
Yeah.
So even smaller. So, but I think that was a great choice. The little black sword sort of motif on the white background looks great.
And what's great about the halving or the quartering is it really does make it look like a traditional
Like a sort of heraldic thing, yeah.
emblem kind of thing. So,
Definitely.
as you said, it almost doesn't even matter what you put in there because you're visually already cued into the. I mean, we do enjoy like what you put in there, so and it does look good, but it just gives you that visual of like, oh, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Then it ties it into the rest of the.
Exactly. But yeah, model looks fantastic, and I love the yellowish weathering on the bottom of the cloak.
Yeah, I was gonna say talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
It's a great
Because
tie-in
it
with
ties into the
with
gold.
What else was that? It's not something you'd expect to have that kind of
Yeah.
balance. But yeah, great work, Ashlynn.
Looking
Looks very
great.
cool.
Always enjoy seeing
Yeah.
it. What you've been doing. So Betsy has finished the second troll from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So
Journeys
this
into
one,
Middle Earth.
I think the green is a little bit more vibrant than the first troll, and the orange, that brown for his diaper there, is a little bit more desaturated.
I said his nappy.
He's nappy. Yep. Wait, hang on. No, in America, the diapers. I used the word diaper. Australia, right? I was going to say it for his nappy, but then I was like, wait, no, that's the different word.
Gotcha.
So, yes, but I think, definitely looking very cool there. Loving it. I think the way you picked out the musculature on the green is very neat, and the folds. Really enjoying all the work you're doing on the Lord of the Rings game. Nice work, Betsy.
I'm excited to see them all kind of
Together. Right.
how they'll all look.
Cool.
Next we have, Chris.
Cool. Chris Donnan. This thing. Is that what Chris said?
Yeah,
I painted this thing.
This is taken from the Facebook group, so this is what people will comment.
Awesome. I think, it's a very cool cultist there with that and the cool Plague Doctor mask. Mm-hmm. Always a killer. I changed the color of the belt. I'm not sure. It feels like the coat has a bit of a it's grey. It got like a black grey, but it's got a little bit of blue, maybe purple tinge in there.
I don't know if that helps you see the belt a little better.
Pardon? Yeah, no, that's good. But I think so. The brown works well for those pouches. I think that black with the edging on it helps separate it.
Yeah.
From there. I think I would leave it. Personally, I would leave it. there. And the only thing I would do is I'd be tempted on the sides and the underneath the pouches, on the cloak or the robes. It would be just to add a little bit more shading in there. We're talking about pushing in.
That's what I was gonna say.
Some wash, just
Like,
to
if you want more definition to add some shading, you could even do it underneath the fringe of the cape, the top cape, if you wanted, just a little bit.
But yeah, I think that'll help give you that separation that you're looking for there.
Because then it would be able to keep the color palette of the.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of the kind of this dark and ominous. You wouldn't have, I'd be tempted to be like, let's do a bright blue belt, because I want it to stand out, not thinking like, then that doesn't even fit really my mini.
Yeah. There are different, thinking
little
about
shading
tonal
actually,
contrast can stand in for hue contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely.
Which potentially here could be
a thing.
If you do it, you might find like that's what you want.
Yep.
All right.
Excellent.
Next we have Chris Gorka.
Oh, Chris's crazy purple towel.
Yeah.
Yep, these are looking very cool. And again, it's one of those things that Chris does either a lot of desaturated with a little pop of saturated color,
right?
Or in this case, this purple is so sort of intensely saturated that the other colors he's put around are sort of desaturated. That blue comes off desaturated because the purple is so saturated.
Vibrant. Gotcha.
It pushes that. Your eye separates them in some way.
It is kind of amazing. The science of color.
It's incredible. I love thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, Chris has done a great job there. Really, really nice. Loving that basing too. And Tau, everybody's all about the Tau right now. The Tau Codex is either just released or it's about to release.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
So, always cause for celebration. But yeah, great work, Chris. It looks excellent.
That's amazing. Next we have 1-Inch Heroes with the Tabaxi Bard. I don't have the photo, so you'll just have to look at the small one.
Not a problem. We can still see it. Yeah. But it looks very cool. And it's this kind of thing's right up Drew's alley.
Yeah.
I was sitting down with Drew a couple of years ago and we talked about his passion for painting D&D minis.
Oh, that's awesome.
And role-playing minis. And I think he's done a great job there. That the coloration on that face immediately reads as cat.
I know.
And
it's so good.
So it's going to be super obvious there. My question would be like, how long would that Tabaxi Bard play each song? Would it be like 20 seconds and then get bored of it and walk off somewhere else? It's got to be something like that. You wouldn't get a symphony out of them.
My one D&D campaign I played in, I played a Tabaxi because of the fact that I thought it would be fun to play like a cat character that's like just constantly like. I really like the emphasis on the highlights. In the robe.
Yep.
Interestingly, they're like kind of pushed to the point where it's not exactly how cloth would look, but it gives the bard like sort of this ethereal, like kind of magical feel.
It gives a little bit more of a so it feels a little bit more like velvet, like purple velvet.
Yes.
Yeah. Gives that sort of feel, but it adds that volume to it.
Yes.
And that sort of definition. So you can see where that the top half ends and goes in, like folds into the belt, and then where it comes out again, you've got that highlight there. So that's what we were talking about before about the adding that definition in to get that volume looking good. And I love the purple rose with the gold anklet there and the yellow flowers. Great work. Nice one, Drew.
Good.
Very cool.
Next we have Mark with a work in progress, and he was working on the rounded or curved backdrop.
Yep.
That's specifically what was happening here.
Yeah, looking very cool. So this is one that Mark's painting up for the P3 painting contest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say that's
Adepticon.
Monster
Yep. Yeah.
Monster Apocalypse.
So Mark has about 40 days.
Oh, we were just talking about projects.
You're on the clock, Mark. But you knew that already. But yeah, this is looking very cool. I think I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of the base if you go with like that like ruined city kind of look and building that back up into that backdrop.
Right.
I think it'll be very cool.
That would
But yeah,
be really cool.
excited to see how this one goes. Nice one.
Next we have Gavin.
Cool. Yep. Gavin has done a family shot. It's kind of what you call it when you bring all the models you painted together.
A family
As a group.
That's
A
funny.
family shot. But yeah, these they're Imperial Fists. They're looking really good. I think there's a lot of they may all be Primaris. Might not. There might be some Firstborn Marines at the back there, who are the original ones, but yeah, the models are looking very cool. Can you just zoom in a little bit for us on the Miracle button? There we go. Oh. Yep, looking very cool. Got a lot of great characters down at the front there, and talking about getting definition using different tones. In this case, it's using different hues. So
Right.
you've got the yellow, which in this case normally yellow is like the brightest color. In a lot of models, that is the brightest color there. But going with that white on the inside of the cloaks, it sort of knocks the yellow back to the mid-tone.
I was going to say, yeah, it ends up being the mid-tone.
Yeah. And then the red gets to be the dark tone, which is always interesting to see, because red usually sits right in the middle. Yeah. You're pushed either way. But yeah, these are looking great, Gavin. Really nice job.
Yeah, I like how these turned out.
They would kick some butt on the battlefield as well.
Next we have Jason.
Oh my goodness, Jason.
Wizkids Clockwork Dragon.
Jason's waited all this time. Talk about the Clockwork Dragon. So, yeah, one of the things that Jason did. So the wings on the Clockwork Dragon from Wizkids do have those patches sort of thing.
Okay.
It's all sculpted in.
Okay.
So rather than just going for a single piece of fabric, like type of fabric that's been stitched together, or if you want it to be really gruesome, a single like tone of skin that's all been stitched together. I had to go there. Jason's gone with a variety of different.
This isn't a Warhammer dragon.
It's not a Warhammer dragon. This is true. It is not. It's not a grimdark dragon.
Yeah.
So Jason's gone through and painted them in different patches.
Yes.
What that can do, and I think where Jason's feeling a bit not confused, but sort of concerned about the look of it, is that it makes it difficult to work out where to highlight and shade. You're not going to get.
There's so much. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got so much variety there in the colors. But what I would suggest is that each of the look for where those ridges. It's like on the outside. Look for where those ridges of cloth go over, and highlight down sort of the middle of those, or not necessarily the middle, but highlight where light would fall.
Like how they're like this.
I keep doing like that. It's not a very good description. But
I know. I did the same thing. I was like, ugh. But yeah, right where that's folded, you can see the light. So you're saying do it right on the ridge of the...
on the ridge. And on the underside there, you can see top of the wing.
Yep.
And then that first sort of finger down.
Yep.
From there, that's where you'd highlight on that top surface. And then up underneath, so rather than to go along, highlight each of those bright areas in the colors that you would usually use to highlight whatever the color cloth is.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then for the shading, just use brown. Doesn't matter what the color is, just use brown. because your shadows are all going to sort of fold into that same. Basically, when you're folding in shadow, you're losing your contrast. So, different colors in the bright area, where in the sunlight, where
They'll look
sunlight hits
different.
it, they'll look different.
But without the light, they start to lose.
Yeah, everything loses its contrast. So I would mess around with something like that, Jason. See how you feel about that. So on that, like the left wing there, the one that's on the right side as we're looking at it, you've got that blue-gray, you've got some browns, you've got a bone, you've got some yellows. Wherever those highlights are going to be, highlight them up how you would highlight those colors. So a little bit of a lighter yellow, the bone might go to an ivory, the blue-gray might go to a light gray.
Okay.
They'll all be different, but as you just don't put a wash over the whole thing.
Right.
Just paint it, but start it by putting it on the bottom and work up. Yeah.
Until it kind of starts giving itself.
So hopefully that makes sense, Jason.
Cool.
Fingers crossed.
Let me see if he said something in the chat real quick. Oh.
Yep. We'll just quickly take a look at the chat.
Should I use more of a wash for shading or glaze?
I would start with the glaze. To be honest, I'd say, like personally, I would start at that halfway mark and use it like a thin glaze.
Okay.
When I say a glaze consistency, so you could use a thin down a wash or something like a sepia.
Right.
And then just build it through sepia and a brown to almost black. You don't have to go all the way to black, but as you build that up, you're going to get that kind of look. I'm going to bring this guy out again just quickly.
Do you want me to go to him?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. There we are.
Just a little lower, yeah.
Okay. So you can see here as we get lower on those wings. This isn't a perfect example of what I'm talking about, but you see the ridges have the lighter color.
Yeah.
And you've got the shading in towards those fingers. But then as it moves down towards the base, the color down here is darker, like considerably darker than the shading at the top here.
Cool.
So it's that kind of feel is what you're looking for.
Looks good, though.
But yeah, coming along nice. And one of the things that I did like about this as well is that through Jason's process is that he painted the wings, that patchwork, and then wasn't quite sure where to go next. So instead of messing around with something and pushing it too far, he was like, I'm going to paint the base.
There you
So
go.
he painted the base. Which is something he knew how he wanted to do it. Just went and did that, and then he could come back and so while you're painting the base, you can be thinking about the other
ideas.
thing. Yeah. So you're not rushing into it, pushing things around, muddying the waters. That's a good example, but
No, it
yeah,
is. It's good.
It'll be good.
Experience.
But,
So our next mini has been painted by JT.
JT, cool. Yep, these are the armigers he was talking about.
Armigers.
And JT is painting these up in House Tyrannus colors.
Like
So-
from Dune. No.
Tyrannus, no. In Warhammer 40,000, all the nightly.
I'm just joking.
You have the nightly households.
It
They're,
sounds like House
Atreides.
I don't know why. It just,
House Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Yep. Tyrannus, Arrakis. Sound very
Arrakis,
similar.
Tyrannus.
Yeah.
It's all.
There's a lot of things in 40k that have been borrowed from the wonderful works of Frank Herbert. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, all of the knights are grouped into households. But House Tyrannus is also the one that I painted. So
So it's a little heart.
House Tyrannus is best house.
Loyal.
Yeah. Good work, JT. Keep it
Looks
up.
good. We have Christopher Cook with a terrifying monster that
Yes,
has what's it called? Tentacles.
Yep.
It also looks like there's a brain thing, exposed brain.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but it looks great. I really like
Yeah, it is very cool. I love this. It's popping up out of a pool of water.
Oh, yeah, like almost like a well.
Yep. Yep.
That's
One of
so
those things
fun.
that as you're wandering through the dungeon and you go, I wonder what's down. Ah! But yeah, looking very cool. I love the green.
There goes our bard.
Stupid tabaxi.
Yeah. Always playing those dang songs.
Curiosity killed the bard. But I shot the sheriff. No. Anyway, you keep me on. The green on those tentacles is looking really cool. It's almost very, like tree frog kind of green. And I love the sheen that Chris has got on there. But yeah, looking good. And the great counter to green is always that lovely sort of pinkish
Yes.
kind of
And
look
then I
for
like the
the fleshy
yellow,
pink.
like
Yeah, the
tips.
little spines, teeth. Yeah, look very cool. But Christopher, I think you've done a great job here.
Which makes me think that
That's
maybe
awesome.
it is a plant
You think it's a plant?
instead of a creature.
I think it's a creature.
Okay. I'll go with
I could be
that.
wrong.
That's fine. It looks good. Thank
Yeah, it
you
does.
for sharing.
Yep.
Next, we have Michael Gonzalez with these figures.
Excellent. So
And
these are models. These are Zangor, I think, from. I think you use them in Warhammer 40,000 or in Age of Sigmar.
Oh, okay.
But they're kind of Tzeentch-aligned beastmen, Tzeentch being the Chaos God of Change. So that classic blue and gold. It's a fantastic look. I think it was JT that was painting some of these last year. Could be wrong, but JT will let us know. But yeah, these are looking really nice. Under that, I love the feathers there under the arm. And one of the things I particularly like about it is that so you've got blue, then green, then yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that rainbow effect going on. Great choice there.
But kept it all in the palette, so
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
not. It's working really well. I also really like the bases
Right.
with the cool tone in the shadows.
Yeah, they do definitely look like they're standing on a glacier.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yep.
They're very effective.
Yep. I think Michael's done a great job there. I just noticed the chat popped up and JT said, yeah, I did the
Oh, you can read it from there?
Enlightened Zan goes on disc. That's right, yeah. He did the discs and then there was a lot of gold on the discs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But, yeah. I could read it on the preview screen. Because it's got-
Oh, that makes
like
sense. Yeah, that makes
But yeah.
sense.
looking good.
I mean, that's way too small for me. I cannot see that.
Looking good, Michael. Nice work.
Mick.
Oh, Mick Allen. It's been a busy week.
week painting for a friend.
Very
Mick
cool.
posted many pictures.
So,
This I just picked one of them.
let's pick one of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are looking really cool. I think these might be Delta Force for a Black Hawk Down scenario.
Gotcha.
So going back to '93 in Mogadishu. That scenario, but yeah, the black, the close black helmets and the black vests over the desert camo. Kind of are very much reminiscent of the Delta Force during that time. I think the regular army had the desert camo. over the
Oh, helmets. Gotcha.
Yeah. But no, these are looking great. Basing's really nice and simple, but it's just super effective as well. Gives it that desert feel. But yep. Nice work there, Mick. Excellent.
Next, we have Mike Becker with a work in progress
Yep.
with some Skaven.
Some OG Skaven. So yep, these are some nice old original Jez Goodwin minis from back in the day, in the late '80s, mid '80s maybe. But yeah, looking really good, Mike. I'm loving. Again, we talked about like Zangor. We talked about that keeping that blue, the green, and the yellow in that section of the color wheel, I guess.
Yes.
So Mike's got a similar thing going on here with that sort of bluish greenish color on the robes, and then on the cowl.
That
got
green.
That green, yeah, that kind of a sickly green kind of look. There, looking very neat. But
Definitely looking like something a rat would pick up.
Yeah. Yep, they definitely do. But yeah, these are looking really nice. Excellent work there, and I love that little I guess gem there picked out in the red on the cowl of the guy pointing. He's the leader. You can tell because he's pointing. Yep.
If only he had his foot on a rock.
That would date him. That would put him as a later model.
Oh, okay.
They didn't incorporate rocks until the early 2000s.
I just always think that's so funny.
It is.
And then like I'll see it in like cartoons or whatever, and I like made a comment to someone, but they didn't really understand that I was talking about warrior like miniatures. I was like, they're the leader.
Yeah. How do you know?
They're pointing and standing on a rock.
Yeah. One of the
I need to go stand on a rock and point.
be the leader. People will listen to you. You're on a rock. They're pointing. You must know what you're talking about. But no, there's a great model that's just about to be released by GW Morgan Ra, who's an Eldar character.
Nice.
He has the super heroic stance. So legs set wide apart is heroic.
Yep.
The further apart, the more heroic you are. And he has like almost a Jean-Claude Van Damme on the two trucks kind of stance.
Yeah.
His feet are up on two rocks.
Oh my.
So you know that he's like super important. But the miniature so it's beautiful. Quite apart from the joking about the pose, it's
Right.
It's great
right.
looking, great
It's a
looking
cool
mini.
miniature, but it is kind of funny how it does that.
it is a good chuckle. But yeah, nice work, Mike. These Skaven look great. Excellent.
Next we have Sarah with a Reaper Wear Medallion.
Wear armadillo.
Wearmadillo.
I was going to say
Sorry.
that this is like a real armadillo.
Yeah.
As the picture was fading in. But yeah, no, Sarah's done a great job there. I think the coloration looks excellent. And yeah.
Yeah, she had mentioned that this was a pretty quick paint.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't take too long, but it was really fun to paint.
Yep. No, I think it's good, and I love that Sarah picked out the eye there in the blue.
Yeah.
Just
it
that
looks
extra,
nice.
that little pop of color in there.
Yeah.
It's really very cool, and I do appreciate the going the trouble to pop it outside.
Pose it in the
in the
environment.
in the really real world. But no, it looks great, Sarah.
Yeah,
Nice
it looks
work.
really good. So that's going to be it for our minis for this evening.
Cool.
And if we didn't get to your mini, we will next week. For those of you who may not know, we have our Painting Happy Little Minis group where we take people's miniature photos and then talk about them on the group. So make sure you check down in the description, and there's a link there for the group if you're interested in joining. It's all about mini painting and having fun.
Yep. But also, yeah, we don't just take your photos and show them on the show.
Oh, you have to submit them.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, but I mean,
True. It's more
the group
than
is
that.
all about.
The group is more than that. People share what they've been working on, and we have a jolly time. Talk about ideas. If you have any questions, we've been having. We almost have 2,100 members.
Oh, cool.
Which is exciting. We're closing in on that 100.
Yeah.
2.1K.
Nice.
Mark, which is exciting. So, yeah, we had a whole slew of new members just recently. So it was kind of fun. Got to welcome them. So, which is why I was a little bummed that it didn't send to the group, but it's all good.
Okay. Okay.
But yes. So at any point, Dave, whenever you want, I have the photo and the video.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that a
Whenever
little bit then. Okay. I mentioned a couple of times before on the show, probably everybody who watches regularly, is getting a little bit bored.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, I've already backed it just to shut her up. But it's an exciting thing. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And also because I'm working with a friend of the show, Jeff Hall.
Yes.
From Games and Stuff on the book. It's funny, each project I work on, I just call it the book until it's its actual name after it's been made. Until then, it's the book. So working on the book, the Tremendous Tome of Decorating Dungeons. Hooray! Launched on Kickstarter today.
Awesome.
At noon. So what's that? 8 hours ago. We are chugging along steadily towards our funding goal. Nice. Which is super exciting. But one of the things that I think we will show... Oh, just what it says. We slew our new members? No.
Because I said we have a slew of new
I'm sure it's spelled differently.
No, it's the same, I think.
Is it spelled the same?
I think so,
okay. Yeah. That's no good. Oh, Ashlynn said Kitty needs attention. I'm heading out. Night, Ashlynn.
See ya. Thanks for joining.
Yes. But, yes. G-dubbed the Heroes of the Grid battle was the game. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Yes, plug. Here we go, Timothy. We have the video. For those of you who haven't seen the video.
The video.
Coming up any moment now. Any moment.
Sorry. I'm looking at the chat and I'm not paying attention to Dave's good cueing. All right, so this is the video for the Kickstarter that is currently live.
Yes.
Hey.
And we're back.
And we're back. So.
Cool. Excellent.
Drip. Drip.
Yep. So, very cool. Thank you very much for putting that together. The owner put that together for us. And the art direction on that video was pretty haphazard.
No, it was great.
It was like, I think we've got this idea. What about this? And then there was like, oh, maybe if we did that thing. So that's why they were like, it has like 7 different themes going into it.
It's great. It's a great, it's nifty. It's fun. That's why we wanted to show you, because it's just a fun little video to show.
And that was the first time I've ever shot
stop
motion, so you can see the camera moves a little bit through there. But it was fun. It was kind of cool.
Stretched yourself.
Yeah.
You grew a little bit.
Yep. And now I now know that stop motion is hard. And whenever I see stop motion, I'm going to applaud it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen Parks and Rec, but there's this moment where one of the characters like leaves, he goes on a sabbatical and he does stop motion and they're like, let's see your project that you made. And it's just this like claymation character and it's like, stand in the place where you, and it cuts off. And it's just this character getting out of bed and it just keeps going on a loop, but it's just like that.
It's just like 3 seconds. Yeah.
And they're all like, that's it?
Yeah.
And he's like, it was so hard. So great. So anyway, so the book is out. You can check out, the Kickstarter for the book is out. The book happening.
Yep.
It will be.
Will be happening.
It will be happening. So,
Yeah.
if anybody's interested, I'm just going to pop the link in the chat so you are able to click on it or at least check it out. If you don't have any interest in it, but you think you might know people who would, be sure to share it with them, because part of being excited about a project or getting the word out. So make sure you just share it with people who you know, and feel free to share it in different groups if you're part of terrain groups and stuff like that. So, or any of your RPG dungeon people. Those definitely are the people
For sure.
to check it out.
No, definitely good. We're very excited about it. I think the folks at Dwarven Forge talked about it on their live stream last night.
No way!
No,
That's
they were
awesome.
pretty excited about it.
That's awesome.
That cool image at the end,
Yeah.
that tower piece that Jeff put together. I think it doesn't. Oh, it's that, or there's some other pieces in the background. I can't remember which part, but some of those don't come in that color scheme. And they were like, "Oh, we don't make it in that color scheme." And Jeff's like, "I painted it."
He's like, "That's what my."
If you'd like to learn how, you can check out the book. Sorry, does it? He talks out of the side of his mouth. Actually, no, that's how I do. I talk like
That's great.
But so very cool. We're excited about it. So many things we can do. I'm going to be working on one of the feature builds I'm going to be working on is using a lot of the Warlock tiles and then adding in some like scratch built elements and doing like a desert theme, like a dusty desert civilization tomb kind of thing.
That's cool.
So I've got some pillars and
Like almost
doors to do.
Egyptian vibes or
Almost,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more like the we painted the Lair of the Serpent Lord or whatever it was.
Oh,
That
more
kind
like
of-
that.
That
Cool.
kind of thing.
Yes.
So I'm going to paint up a whole bunch of the serpent folk as well.
Yeah.
That use them in that.
That's
So you
exciting.
get to see lots of blue snake people up against that orange.
Orangey
desert,
sand.
Yeah, sandy like. Yeah. So it should be a
There's
lot of fun.
theme.
Definitely cool. Just there's 24 frames a second of fun. To get that little that fun stop motion kind of look, you can dial that back to like 15 or 12 frames a second.
Yeah.
24 frames a second will give you a generally fairly smooth kind of look. 60 frames per second. Who do you think I am? Peter Jackson?
There's there's no point. So the eye only sees 24 frames per second, so it just doesn't even
It
make a
isn't
difference.
Yeah. Yep.
I tried to explain this to someone once and they didn't believe me. I mean, you technically can see a difference, but anyway, whatever. It's all good.
It's not purely necessary.
It's all good.
You don't need 24 frames a second.
You don't.
You want
You
60
just
frames.
want
You don't
that.
need 60
You don't
frames a
need
second.
60, but you want,
You want
60.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
very cool.
So yes,
We will be hearing more about the project word, the updates. if you
Updates
have
as we go
any,
along.
As we
Yep.
go along, which will be
But,
exciting. So,
yes, I need to.
and there's a bookstore pledge.
There is
not bookstore, a game store.
a retailer pledge level.
Pledge level. So if you are not interested yourself, but you have a local game store and you think your local game store has a community of that type of interest, send it their way
They're
or
really
talk
into
to
role
them
playing,
about
dungeon crawling. Yep.
which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it should be quite neat. So we're hoping. Looks like tonight we might be able to make it halfway. And tomorrow, fun. And then stretch
And then the
goals.
stretch goals, and we stretch forever.
Not forever.
Not forever.
No. They run out pretty quickly. No, just kidding. They don't. It's almost forever.
Oh, did you want to show
think
the
they could run.
pictures that you
Oh yeah,
sent in? I almost forgot.
So my friend Tim Toolin, I'll eventually get to finish this miniature. See if I can fit her in. There we go, in frame.
So I do have also
Yes.
the art video too.
Okay, cool.
If you want to.
Yeah, that would be neat. So my friend Tim Toolin is a fantastic illustrator. He actually did the logo for us for the Tremendous Tome.
the gotcha.
Decorating
Gotcha,
Dungeons.
gotcha,
So yeah, art direction on that again, super vague and all over the place. Refined as we went, but yeah, I asked Tim to do up. So some of the stretch goals that we've got are free adventures, so one-shot adventures. based on the feature builds that we're going to be putting into the book. So Jeff's written up the story hook, the title of the adventure, and so I sent those to Tim, and Tim's creating entrances was the direction for it.
Cool. I like that.
So yeah, one of them is like the first one I think is like the lair of eternal darkness or something like that.
Right.
So that's what this is. So you've got those stalagmites, stalactites, that kind of feel going on. But yeah, Tim does all of his work in I think it's like a sketch program called Procreate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Procreate because that's what my sister uses, and like it auto captures for you, which is really cool. So this is just one of the art. Like they can hear us over the video. So
cool. So yeah, this is how
the process.
The process, yeah. I always love seeing this because
it's so cool. It's mesmerizing, right?
Yeah.
You get to see someone's like brain behind it all. Oh, and he gave the whole thing. Wow.
Yep.
I didn't realize. So that's really cool. So you said there's a couple of these that he's done, the entrances?
So this is the one that he's finished.
Right.
He's got the other ones hopefully coming this weekend.
Cool.
But we'll have one for the like Lair of the Serpent Folk kind of thing.
Okay.
And we'll have one which is a they sort of like a wizard's tower off on the outskirts of town.
I love that.
And the wizard doesn't usually like visitors.
Yeah.
But nobody's seen the lights haven't been on in the tower for a couple of weeks, and it's like somebody should go and check on him.
The wizard.
How about you four newbies to the town? You go and check on him. I think it's like an adventure of like levels 1 to 3 or something like that, or 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Fairly low level stuff, but so yeah, he's going to have an entrance to a wizard's tower.
That's cool.
There's all sorts of things that we can do with that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just cool, fun things, and I wanted to make sure that we had some good art to go with it because you can read a whole bunch of things and you can see a whole bunch of photos of miniatures and terrain, but cool art is cool art. So
honestly, yeah, I can appreciate it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think it's also fun because it's such a great. Like, I love the idea of these entrances because it really inspires you. Like, it's just a great starting point for the adventure, which, that's even what, not a full campaign, but that type of thing. They're just a starting point for you to, a little adventure.
Just that launch point. There's some point you're going to cross the threshold. Yeah. And then you're in the thick of it. So that was kind of the direction was entrances.
That's awesome. So these are all part of stretch goals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Part of stretch goals. And Jeff's written a lot of adventures, role-playing adventures for a lot of whole bunch of companies.
Okay.
So Jeff's going to be writing these to go along with the builds that we're doing.
Nice.
So I think it's going to be really good.
Should be very good.
Yep.
And yes, look forward to seeing it all. Entrances and trances.
Nice one. And I do like the wellness check on Zebo, the town wizard. Funny stuff.
Is he doing okay there?
Hey, you want to sketch anything?
We're going to Wawa later.
But no, definitely cool. Okay.
So is the book more for people who've painted before, or do you feel like there's a ability of like, even if you haven't done a lot of terrain?
It's certainly more geared towards those people that haven't done a lot of terrain painting before.
Okay, cool.
Or perhaps have not done any painting. There are a lot of sort of pre-painted products are available, so... But yeah, if you're, as I was saying before with the cabin pieces, like we don't paint it in that color.
Yeah.
So you might have that piece, but you want it to match your other set. How do you go about doing that? So it's that kind of thing. We're going to cover a lot of things about personalizing your sets, creating your own sort of color schemes or your own approaches. But when it comes down to it, all of it goes back to making sure that you know how to dry brush.
Okay.
You know how to apply a wash.
Right.
And you know how to sort of highlight. And once you've got all those sort of skills down, the rest of it's just sort of working out what colors to use and where to put them. So a lot of it will be like that sort of thing. I think last week, at some point, I talked about the doing some like a obsidian floor tile and a gold mine floor tile.
Yes.
So in the book we'll have examples like that where we show a single tile and we'll talk about the colors that we used and the techniques. So it'd be like dry brush again, pick out the edges, like highlight the edges, and then put a gloss varnish on it to give you your obsidian, shiny obsidian look. And then we can go from there. I think one of the things as well, talking about going back to that like efficiencies thing I mentioned earlier. When I painted up these sections to make that sort of damp dungeon look out of the what do you call it, Dwarven Forge pieces, I did about 200 pieces.
Oh, wow.
In about 6 or 7 hours.
Okay, because you were just like...
Yeah, just doing them in batches, reasonable batches where I wasn't going to get bored through it and I could see progress.
Right.
So I'd go through, I primed everything essentially all at once.
Okay.
And then went through and I'd paint 15 pieces, 15 or 20 pieces.
Gotcha.
Dry brush them a dark grey, dry brush them a lighter grey, dry brush white. And you get to see, at the end of that, you've got 20 pieces that are finished. And it's like, I'm seeing progress. Because psychologically, you want to make sure that you're seeing progress.
Yeah.
If you don't see that progress, you start to get a little bit, you can start to get a little bit loopy.
And you don't need that when you're
No.
trying to finish a project.
Not at all. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of... Get some work under these herbs there. What time are we looking at? Keep going.
8:51.
Plenty of time. What have you done?
I
What have you done?
Yes, this is not me being happy. I thought, oh, I'll use the same dark wash for my blue,
All right.
which is
And-
like this dark brown tone here.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'll mix it with my blue and then it'll create my dark tone that I can
Right. But it
kind of put in the cracks. Like I didn't like just go
Yeah.
all over it. So like it doesn't look terrible, but it's too orange. Like
right. Yep, the brown. It's one of the what's really great. I'm talking about color theory.
Too orange.
It's always super important to do that mixing and observe on the palette what the thing is.
I did observe and I thought, it'll work. So now I'm realizing like I really just need a darker blue.
Yep.
Like I think
If you go with a darker blue or a dark purple or black or something like
I
that.
don't want to do black because I was afraid that I'll just use a purple.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to use black because of
They get too dark.
it gets too dark. It's very
Right.
easy.
I mean, mixing a black into your blue.
Yeah. No.
Probably.
No. That's what I mean. Yeah. I think
Okay.
I still find it too difficult to
Right.
do that.
Okay.
Already loopy. I also have this bad habit of like always washing my. Well, it's good to wash your brush, but then like when you use
Right.
you usually thin down your paints somewhat as you're working with them. But like miniature paints, you can kind of keep them pretty thick.
Yep.
You know?
So you're saying you're using too much moisture on the brush?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not relying on the wet palette.
Right.
Troubles on this side of the table.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Now it's a real purple color. Like, is this too purpley? Can you see it in the screen?
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Like
And,
for a shadow for this color right here.
Yeah. Yep. All good.
Okay.
So I'd start. See how you've got the lighter of your two. So you got your dark purple. Well, the splotch of purple. Put your brush out. So I can. Yep. So that dark purple there, that the brush is hovering above.
Yep.
And then you've got that lighter purple.
Yeah. Okay. Back here.
There. Yep. I would start with that lighter purple.
Okay. So you'd
And
start with
just
this
put
lighter.
that in the shadows, the recesses where you want them, the shadows to show.
Okay.
And then that darker purple, thin that down a bit and put that in even deeper.
Okay.
That's what I'd do there.
All right. Quickly.
You can do it.
Quickly.
Okay.
Oh wow, it's so much better.
Fun?
It's so much better than that brown.
Right. Yep.
Like, even if it kind of looks a little comic booky, it doesn't matter
That's cool then.
because your eye doesn't mind. That's so weird.
Excellent. Well, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to finish this, the pattern on the coat tonight. It's a bit of a shame. But I'll take it home and over the weekend try and get it. Well, actually, maybe early next week try and get it finished.
Okay, cool.
Post it up in the group. That'll give me a chance to do the texture on there as well with my finer brush. At the moment, I'll get some of the other areas. She has. It looks like she's got this sort of necklace of plates, like little square kind of plates across the front there. So I'm going to paint them black and then paint them as like a brass kind of look, and then put a little bit of verdigris on there. And for some reason, I want to do like she's got this like Druid sickle there, and I want to do that as brass as well. Is that a?
It's to keep it with the green.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just always have a feeling that like sickles are Druid sort of sickles are a copper or a brass. I don't know where that's come from. It's no doubt, maybe it's from years of pop culture
Yeah, I don't know.
with witches and that kind of thing. Would be my guess, but we'll see how that goes. Everybody heard that rattle then?
Is that like a little
Oops.
skull?
Oops. Fun?
Was that a little ball?
Yeah, that's
in
one of the balls in the air paint.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now we paint a rough iron. That's kind of taken over from Tinny Tin for me. Because it's
I just messed his face up.
what's that?
I just messed his face up.
No, not his face.
Why? Not his face. Not his beautiful face. His beautiful orc face.
My face, my beautiful face.
My beautiful orc face. Because orcs have British accents.
Is that what that was?
How dare you?
Sorry. But yes, the I just got this feeling that they're always brass. So maybe it's something to do with it. It's a different. It's not iron. Iron is kind of a brutal metal,
Right.
whereas copper or brass is a softer metal,
True.
and so perhaps preferred by
Brass
those
is
who.
still pretty hard, though.
Oh yeah, it is, but just more from a.
Silver in D&D, apparently.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I just was being...
Oh, is that what they were? Did somebody say?
that's what Jason
Oh,
says.
Jason says silver and D&D. Okay, cool. So maybe
So I'm just going to pop this guy on the spinner
Okay,
so that then you can see it.
cool. Just knock them off.
Oh, well, I'll just... I don't want to knock him off because
Okay.
knowing me, I will knock something.
Right.
And that would be sad. So for my guy, I ended up going with the orange brown color, model color actually by Vallejo.
Yep.
For the fur trimmings, I did one layer of a wash, a smoky ink wash.
Yep.
Part of the game color range. It's one of those things where I didn't want to keep putting another one down because that's where I run into trouble. But it probably could be hit another time with that. The skin ended up being the steel gray.
Yep.
Which I'm having.
It does look quite blue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks really blue. Maybe it's just this light, because maybe if it was in daylight, it would be not that blue.
Yeah.
But it's really blue, and I think it's especially blue against the orange.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like the total
it's pushing that
opposite color.
Well, just quickly, JT's heading off. See you all next week.
Bye. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. And then I did go in with violet and water it down with the steel gray to try and give some sort of definition. In the camera, it's a little blown out, so but you can actually see a little bit of the it's not just shadow. I actually did paint there, so that's kind of nice that it's coming up. I'm sorry.
I guess it's 9 o'clock.
Phone alarm. Now it's 9. So then if I paint this guy anymore, it will be about going in and painting his hat, the antlers, and all of his axe.
Yep.
And the metal parts. So I just decided not to touch any of the metal on his.
Yep.
His
I just realized I should grab her sticker up there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Slammed my head right into the microphone. There we go.
You're doing fine, Leona. We're trying.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So there she is. Coming around again.
She'll be coming around the mountain. There you go. Oh, she looks so good.
So she looks pretty cool.
She looks literally amazing.
With the going with that green
I love
on
that bag.
The bag. Yeah, there's still a little bit more highlighting, and I've got to pick out some of those clasps and strap pieces. But going with the green on that, I didn't then want to go with the green on the pants, which was my original thought. So I've kept kept her in the sort of bone sort of color. It's almost like when we were talking about Andrew's tree before. You've got the bark on the outside, and then open it up, you've got the lighter color. Yeah, so it's kind of that's what I'm going with. So yeah.
Well, I think it works because her cloak frames her, so you don't really need anything. In some ways, having the contrast visually is really nice, because then when you look at her with her cloak in the background, it helps her legs and her torso push out. Yeah,
for sure.
As opposed to black slacks or even brown slacks. They look so good. I'm so excited to see that finished.
Yep. So yeah, these minis they are really nice. We really love that detail. I gave her she's got the bracer, but I also gave her a black glove.
Nice.
That hand.
Yeah.
Left hand there, because I think Gretchen's gloves were black.
Yeah.
Black leather. So that worked out. So there's a little bit of red trim I'm going to do on her outfit, her top, whatever you call it. Got the thorn work to do on the back of the coat, and a little bit of work on the case.
Nice. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah. And now I have completed 4. I haven't fully completed, of course, but almost completed all 4 of them.
The frameworks.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, so frameworks are coming to your friendly local game store this season, if they're not already there. I forget exactly the...
Yeah. These ones were kind of promo models that came out October last year, I think.
Yeah.
So...
I forget exactly the shipping dates on them, but just check them out, ask about them, because your friendly local game store should have some intel on when they'll be getting them sometime soon. So,
Yep.
yeah. Thank you all for joining and being part of Painting Happy Little Minis. Make sure that you check out our Facebook group where we all have fun, hang out, post pictures. That's where I talk about getting pictures on the show if you want us to see them and chat about them. And if you're interested, be sure to take a look at Dave's Kickstarter and share it with all your friends and family, especially your grandma. I know she would appreciate that.
My sister-in-law backed the project.
Oh, that's awesome.
She doesn't play D&D at all.
Yeah.
But she's always super interested in what I'm doing. So
yeah.
That's good.
And I think there is
share.
what's cool about the tome book
Yep.
is that there's a wide range of, because it's a little bit further than minis. The terrain allows you to, it could really go into model world. And, that type of
diorama.
thing too. Yeah,
Diorama
exactly.
world. Yep.
That type of
sure.
escape. That type of thing. So, all right, we will see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye. Give me a second.
Keep waving.